Rabbi Kaplan, please.
Yeah. Now these days the time of elections for the area in Eretz Yisrael all over. And area means the municipality. For the city, for the mayor of the city, who's going to run the city. Now, there's signs all over about the elections. The different parties put up signs. This time I was wondering, was there ever anybody that was influenced from a sign? I'd like to know. Maybe the psychologist should work on it, should do a, how do you say?
Rabbi Kaplan, I'm surprised at you. They were scientists and psychologists that worked at this, and it works.
It does work.
It works. We could talk about it, not in the time of our drashat now, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised.
Talk a little louder, please.
I'm surprised you tell me it works. People don't have their own opinions. They don't know what they're doing. They need signs to tell them. I'm surprised at that. But okay. Now there are some signs that they say bad things about the other one. Like, for example, they find things on the other side, and they write and spread it in the streets and papers and leaflets. Now, one of the things was that Leon, he's one of those one of the Muhammadim, that Leon, he's gonna allow Chilul Shabbos in Yerushalayim. There's a place where there's public Chilul Shabbos. What is it? I don't know what it is, but there's a place, it's called Mitchama Tachana, they call it. So, I think that's what they're talking about. Don't really know. Baruch Hashem, I'm sure quite learning. Although I have to confess that I do read the rags when they put them in the mailboxes, but I don't go spend money to buy a newspaper. I don't listen to the news either, Baruch Hashem. So there were signs, there were leaflets that were thrown around that it said Leon is going to allow this place to continue. And maybe it's an amusement park of some kind. And he's going to allow. Now, I want to say like this. He didn't say. You have to think. I mean, I myself don't think so much, but I mean, in these things, in learning, I think that I think, but in these things now. But I once heard from Rabbi Beryl Wein that he said there was a Rebbe in the yeshiva in Chicago, in a yeshiva, Rebbe, an old mirror that he came to the yeshiva, and he didn't speak English yet, and he and the boys were American boys, and it was hard to relate to them and them to him, especially because he didn't speak English. So he said he was a very smart man, it sounds like. His name was Mendel Kaplan. I saw him once. So he said to him like this, let's make a deal. You will teach me English through the newspaper. That means we'll read the newspaper together. I don't know how the whole class is going to do that, but we'll read the newspaper together. And by reading the newspaper, so you will teach me English. And I will teach you how to read a newspaper. Like somebody could ask, tell me, my American kids, what do you mean how to read a newspaper? You read English, so you read a newspaper. Obviously, it means that you have to know what not to believe, how to understand there's such a thing that's called reading between the lines. So he's going to teach them that. So here also the same thing. He says he's going to allow Chilul Shabbat. What does that mean that he doesn't believe in keeping Shabbat? I mean, he wears a yarmulke. I'm going to tell him, I'm naive. He said he wears a yarmulke, means he believes in keeping Shabbat. I mean, there's some that they actually don't really. There's some that I would say that nowadays that they call themselves Dati Light. There's such a thing. Baruch Hashem, I don't know too much. I better not to know what they are. But I just was reading a pamphlet about a get, about a certain so-called Bezdin that was Matir Aishasish al Smach that they passed the Hayden. The Hayden were that delight, and the way they behave, for a naive person like me, it definitely sounds like they're postulated, because the Yiddishkeit is not important to them, the way they live. It's just not important by them, Yiddishkeit. But they do some things. I mean, they maybe even go to Shul on Shabbos. And if they go to Shul on Shabbos, they probably come in by Kivos. That's called early by then. And then they leave by, who knows, by Tikanta Shabbos. So, and they talk in the middle of Chazar Shabbat. But it's like a social thing that you have to go to shul. So that's what these people are, and they mamish by them Yiddishkeit. It seems to me that by these people Yiddishkeit doesn't mean anything. That's what I actually think. But we're not going to go into that too much. But this person, Leon, he seems to be serious. And I don't know about his private life. So you have to read between the lines. What does he mean? He meant that I believe that we don't have to keep Shabbos. He didn't mean that. I would say like this. And if he did, and if I'm wrong, so it also doesn't matter because it's not so important. But I would say how I would look at this, that let's say I would be. Hashem is good to us that he doesn't make us go in these kind of places. Who could take responsibility to run a city nowadays when there's chilonim in the world and they have their demands? What they want. Who could take responsibility to run a city? You have all kinds of tray for things, and then you have to be responsible. Who could do it? From person, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible that a from person should run a city, and Kolshke not to run a Medina. But I would say, let's say, like this, from looking from this side, what I would say, there's Chilul Shabbos in a certain place, in a city. And the Chilul Shabbos that goes on every week in a certain place. But just this place opened up, this amusement park opened up, so they fought against it. They tried to stop it, but it didn't help, and it runs. Let's say, I don't know what's going on, but let's say that's the case. I would say like this, the Gemara says in Brachos, and Daf Zayin Amud Beis, the Gemara says that it's also to be Misgara Barshoyim in this world. Where is it? And for you see a Russia, Shashom Mesachekes Ledigumas Altis Garubo. Don't start up with him. Don't fight with him. A Russia Shashom Mesachekes Lo. And the Gemara brings Musik and Tilim Yachilu Drachov Choes. His ways are always successful. Below the Shazocha Bendin and Rambla. Kids are Rosh Hashanah means a successful. There's such a thing as a successful Rosh. So you shouldn't start up with him. Good look up the Gemara. You have to see the whole Gemara. But the Gemara comes out and then the Tzadi Gomer is allowed to start with him and Tzadi Shenu Gomer not. So I would say that this is the Yisr to be Mizgar Bar Shoim B'Lamazeh. Their Shoim are success. Now, I don't mean to say every Chila and every Yochid that goes there. Probably a lot of them are Tinokas Shanishbu. We don't even understand what kind of Amaratzim these people are. They don't. The Zionim were such big Rishoim that they made a situation here in Eretz Yisrael that there are people that they don't know at all that there's that what it means to be a Yid. Like, let's ask, what's the difference between a Yid and a Goy? What's the difference? That's a Rav Shach with what are you Yid? In that famous drosha that he spoke, so he asked the Chiloni world, Bameh Atem Yehudim, with what are you Jewish? So, they don't know what to answer on this. And there are such... Now, you have to also know there are a lot that are not like that. There are a lot that respect Yiddishkeit, and know that there's such a thing. It's just they're lazy, I would say, or whatever it is. But a lot that are mamish don't know nothing. I once heard it was by Avram Mordechai Freifeld's house, and daughter Aliza was telling that at certain times she worked by the Kosa and trying to organization that when it comes teenagers come, you tell them what to do, how to daven, what to say. She said there comes teenage girls come from different places in the country. They don't know nothing, mamish nothing about Yiddishkeit, nothing. What it means. And it's a big rachmanis. It's not something. I mamish feel like that. These are not people to look down on. You can't look down on these people. These people are just rachmanis. They were taken away. Something was taken away from them by force. Yiddishkeit was taken away from them, and I think they were born into this situation from big Rishoim that they decided that we need a Medina with being okay the Torah, and it's not. Reb Chaim Brisker said. Chaim Brisker was a chacham, odif minovi, you could say, and he said that Zionism, it's not its purpose. The purpose of Zionism is not to make a Jewish state. Only its purpose is to be oker the Torah, to uproot the Torah. The way to do it, their way to do it is by making a Jewish state, so-called Jewish state, and then over there will be like all the goyim. Now, there's a whole book from Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro, a whole book we wrote, or a big part of our book, like 1,000 pages he wrote explaining all this and showing how true it is. And the victims of this terrible rishis are the Chilonim, or a lot of the Chilonim in Eretz Yisrael nowadays. So what do we give? So now, when we fight the running of such a place in Shabbos, we're not fighting these individual people. They're mitzvah rachmanis, but it's those that run the place, and they want that place to be open on Shabbos. There must be somebody there that runs this place, and he wants, or they want, or it's or maybe it's probably an organization, a company, something, and they want that this place should be open on Shabbos. Obviously, everything boils down to money. And that's what they want. For that, you don't have to be a big chacham to understand that. Only a naive American from California doesn't understand that. But everybody else understands that everything is money. Everything has to do with money. So what are we going to do? We're going to be Misgara B'Rishayim. We're going to make a frum Rosh Hayir. And we're going to go fight with these Rishonim. And after we fight with them, what will happen? So they'll fight back, and then it'll spread in other places in the country. And then the Tzibur of Fruma will suffer because they'll start hating us. And what are we going to gain from it? Only going to lose them. I don't know if that's the pshat in the Gemara, what I'm saying over here. Also, Gemara says also is Goras B'Shoim. I mean, I'm saying a Balabatish pshat, which could be true, but maybe there's deeper pshat than that. It's also maybe. I don't know, maybe you could say, but this goes along the lines of what I'm saying, but it's deeper. I always say that there's a hanhog in the world, and this is based on Rabbi Yerucham, on Maimon Rabbi Yerucham in the second volume, that he says, there's a hanhog eretz nitna b'yad Rosha. Eov said that the world was given over to a Rosha, that's the Sultan. Gemara says in the end of the first paragraph of Basra that Eov wanted to be kofed the car, albeit wanted to turn the ball upside down, so to speak, which means as if to say Apikarsis, the Sultan runs the world. But the Emes says Lo Diberiev. The Gemara says no, he was only talking Lo Diberiev. Why is it not Apikarsis? Because Lo Diberiev Ela Keneged Sultan. That means Hashem gave over to the Sultan a certain Shlita in the world. And he gave us the power to fight this Sultan. But how do we fight? Do we have to believe there is an hog of eretz nitna b'yad Rosha? We can't change that. It's going to be like that. It's going to stay like that till the end of time. Till it comes the time of the Shchitas HaYetzer. When Hashem will shech the Sultan and the Yetzer, which is all one thing. The Gemara says in Sukkah in the beginning of the 5th paragraph. And then it's going to be a Shchitas HaYetzer. It's going to happen. Everybody's going to see it, and we're going to see that happening. But until then, there's a Sultan, a Yetzer, Malach, a Moviz, it's all one. And they're going to run. They're going to look how successful. There was the biggest rishis that could come from Yidden themselves was Zionism. You read about what they did, the terrible things. Ritzicha also was mutter by them for the sake of Zionism. Koskin to let Jews be killed during the Holocaust, not do anything to save them, all for the sake of Zionism. So the biggest rishis that ever happened in Klal Yisrael were them. But you see, they were successful. It says, Vayar Aaron, Vayiven Mizbeach, Lefonav, Aaron saw. They made the eagle, they all gave gold, and they threw it into the fire. And then Vayar Aaron, says Rashi, Rosh Hamaisi Sultan Itzliach. He saw the Sultan was successful, so what could he do? So he thought the best way, we'll build a Mizbeach Lefonav, and then we'll do something. So it's going to be like that anyway. There's going to be Chilul Shabbos. Why should we get involved with that? Like Reuben Grozovsky said in his, I think it was a sefer he wrote, Bayus Hazman. So he said, the only thing in what we have to be involved in the Knesset, to send members to the Knesset, only because we have to stop shouldn't make zeros on us. Shouldn't do bad to us. Shouldn't make laws against us. So we're there to stop it. But to fix the situation, we have to fix the Rishoim that are Rishoim. We can't fix. We could fix by working with Yechidim, like the organizations of Kiruv, Arachim, and Leiv Lachim, that they do things to be Mekar of people slowly, little by little. And there is an awakening. And sometimes you read in different articles in different places that even in Tel Aviv, the Treifet Amadika city, you read that there's also an awakening. There are places where people get together and they teach Torah, they learn Torah with Chilonim, and they start seeing there's such a thing as a Torah. So we don't know. So that's the way to do it. That means under the rishus of the Satan, within his rishus, within his place, we should just let him run the show, and we will just do the best we can to not to get influenced by him, and to do whatever we can to fix. But to go straight ahead and fight, I wouldn't do that. That's what he means, Leon. He's not going to fight the Chilul Shabbos. Now, so what do we have to be worried about? Anyway, but and Bechla, all of a sudden everybody became such big tzaddikim that we can't make this person a Rosh Hayir because he won't fight Chilul Shabbos. Who does fight Chilul Shabbos? The only one that fought against Chilul Shabbos was Rabbi Amram Bloy. Rabbi Amram Bloy was Mamish Moshe Nefesh. He went out and he demonstrated against Chilul Shabbos. They say that he went to Edison Theater. They were selling tickets before Shabbos went out, and he stood there by the place where they sell the tickets, and he let them beat him, and he didn't move. Which also, I don't know if he's mechuyev to do that, but that's what he did. So, b'chutzim Rabban Rabbi, do you ever see anybody fight for Shabbos? So I would say that doesn't matter. And that's not a problem. And it's not the derech to misgorah with Rishoyim. I just brought the Gemara. So finish. Now, I want to say another thing over here about the elections. There's been a big machlokes between now and these last elections between the Hasidim and the Litayim. Now, the Hasidim, they they nominated a from person, Yosef Deitch, that he should be the one. We should vote for him for Rosh Hayir, for the mayor of the city. The Litayim, they don't want that. They want, we shouldn't have a Haredi Rosh Hayir. This is what my son-in-law just explained me tonight. That the Litayim don't want a Rosh Hayir Haredi. Because he can't make everybody satisfied. He can't satisfy everybody because he has certain things he can't do. So, it's going to just stir up tension. So what should we do? We should make somebody that sees a Dati Leumi, and then so again, what are you going to say to him? Let him be our Shabbos Goy, that he should do the treifa work, and we'll support him, and we'll vote for him, and the meanwhile, he'll be good to us. It doesn't sound so good to me, but okay, let's say it's all right. Now, of course, everything they ask the Gedolim, they don't do on their own anything. I would ask, so Mela became a big machlokes between the Hasidim and the Litayim, and they're separated. And I imagine, I don't know what the laws are, but if they would go together, there'd be a much bigger number, and maybe it would help more. but they can't get together, and there's a separation, a split. Now, let's say we would, and then the Chaim Kanievsky, they said that he agreed, gave us a skama that we could go and vote for Leon and Degalaterra and Leon. Now, let's say we Litaim would present Reb Chaim Kanievsky with a question. We would ask it this way: not can we have Leon? Let's say we would ask the question this way: there is a big Indian, there shouldn't be machlokes. Machlokes is a terrible thing. Rashi in Parshas Korach, Rashi brings that even young kids should die, and babies could suffer from machlokes. It's a fire, it burns. So we Litaim believe that this Yossi Deitch should not run for mayor of the city. But since we tried to explain it to the Hasidim and they don't want to understand, so we think that because of peace, because of Gadol HaShalom, we should just let them have their way, let the Hasidim have their way, and let him be the only one from the Frum world that runs, and all the Frum people will support him, even though we don't think it's the right way, because we want to be Mekayim, a mitzvah, being misrachik from machlokes. We're not going to look at what's going to be more successful in the elections. We're going to overlook that, not care about that, because we want peace in our tzibur, and we want to be mekayim the mitzvahs losas v'lo yeh kekarach v'chadoso, that some Rishonim counted in the Taryag mitzvahs, and even those that don't count it, but definitely a mitzvah, the mitzvahs losas, they're not allowed to make machlokas. So kedei not to make machlokas, we're going to all vote for him, even though we think he shouldn't run for mayor, this Yossi Deitch. So let's say somebody would present a shiloh like that. What would Reb Chaim Kanievsky say then? It's very possible. He would say, yeah, right. Machlokes is such a terrible thing. Just give in to the Hasidim, bend your head down, do it their way. And you'll see that Hashem will help. Because you were nichna, and because you stayed away from machlokes, so Hashem will help that only good is going to come out of this election. No matter who runs the city, even if it'll be Ofer Berkovich, which doesn't sound good at all, even if he'll become the mayor. But in the schush that you stayed away from machlokes, so some kind of ruach tara will come into Ofer Berkovich, and he'll do everything to help the Frum world. Does it make sense that Ofer Berkovich should help the Frum world? It makes no sense whatsoever that such a thing should happen. To predict that such a thing will happen is crazy. But who says that it goes with our seichel? We run the world. Our seichel runs the world. So maybe that's what's going to win the elections. Maybe staying away from machlokes will win the elections in some mystical, mysterious way. Maybe I would present the shiloh like that, and maybe the answer would come out altogether different. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Rather, Avraham Avinu was mispalel that 50 tzaddikim should save all the cities, Sdom, Gomorrah, all the 5 cities. So then afterwards he said, and what'll be if there'll be 40? So again Hashem said 40 also will save. The Rashi says 50 means 10 in each city. 40 means also 10 in each city, but one city less. So Ramban asks, once he heard that 10 in each city can save each city. What does he have to ask on 40? He should understand himself that 40 could also save 4 cities, because you say that 10 in every city could save them. I was thinking to say like this, and the Ramban is right that it makes sense that 40 should save. But if somebody says, V'anochi offer v'aifa, like Avraham Avinu said, offer v'aifa doesn't make such cheshbonos like that. Who are you to make cheshbonos? You have a mitzvah to be mispal. Avraham Avinu understood he's supposed to be mispal on the Rishonim, where for whatever reason, there's a lot of talk about that, and the tefillah helped L'Doros or whatever it accomplished. And he said, now you're going to make a cheshbon. Once I got an answer on 50, I don't have to ask about 40. It's going to work by itself, so I don't have to be mispelled. Yeah, you make cheshbonos, you're good, but you're off of life. Who are you to make cheshbonos? Just keep on being mispelled. So that answers the Ramban's kasha. So that's why it was mispelled on 40 also. This I'm going to speak Friday night in the certain minyan that I speak once in a while. The minyan that we got, the geniuses, Dov Zupnik's minyan on Rehov Katznambag. So I'm going to say this word. So I'm saying the same thing as over here. You want to help the Yadus HaCharedis. You're doing a shtablis to help them. And you're smart. We Charedim are smart. We know who's good for us and who's not good for us, and we have an understanding that a Charedi should not be the Rosh Hayir, and that'll be good for us. So you understand so much what's good for you. Hashem will say back, so if you understand what's good for you, take care of yourself, leave me alone, Hashem will say to us. The answer is no. We have to say we don't understand what's good for us. Maybe staying away from machlokas is good for us. Maybe that's what helps us. Who told you that putting in a petek in the box over there, that's what's going to bring the Yeshua? Maybe staying away from machlokas will bring the Yeshua. And yeah, we Litaim should be trampled on. We should let them trample on us, step on us. Yeah, maybe. That's anyway the nature of Litaim. No, but we're already now. That's the answer. That now the attitude is different. That was when we were in Lithuania, so then we were downtrodden. But now we're in Eretz Yisrael. No, what's that called? Zionism. Such thoughts are called. No. Maybe do what the Torah wants to stay away from machlokas, and that's what I would present to Shiloh Reb Chaim Kanievsky in that way. And we'll see then what he's going to answer. Of course, they don't come to me to ask how to present the Shiloh. But I once read in the Mishpacha magazine, the Rabosha Weiss, he gave an interview and he said, there's a problem with our members in the Knesset, the Knesset members that the Haredim send, there's a problem that they don't have enough emunah and bitochen. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, let's help, let's hope. Mashiach will come tomorrow morning, even though it's Friday. No, it's Thursday. Mashiach will come tomorrow morning and finished with all this. We should be holding in a higher place and only thinking about avodas Hashem and stop with all this nonsense. If Chas v'Shalom, Mashiach won't come until the elections, it'll be the elections. But let's remember this Yisod that I just said. And if anybody of the Askanim hear this talk, which is very unlikely, but if it'll happen that somebody will hear it, I would very much encourage you to take my words to heart and think about it and use it, because I think this Yesod that I just said can be very, very helpful in everyday life of Askanis and helping the Tzibur. Hashem should help. We should be Zocha B'kar of the Mashiach should come. Hello? Good night.
Hello? No, it just went off. I don't know. Just hold on, let me stop this here 1 second. The phone went off. The connection went off. It just what? No, you didn't lose anything.